Hey everyone, hope your day is going well. We are back with another reaction. I've been checking out a lot of stuff by the Beatles lately, and a lot of you will know this if you follow this channel or my other channel or Patreon. And I'm in the Beatles algorithm. If I just scroll down every like three thumbnails on YouTube is Beatles. So I got a lot of stuff to check out on YouTube. Oh, and there's a lot of other stuff beyond this platform. But hey, I saw that Bono just was on Joe Rogan, and I saw this title. Hey, the lessons Bono learned from Sir Paul McCartney. Maybe we can learn some of those lessons as well. So we'll see what he's about to share here. Let's jump in.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
It's because everybody's going to be co-opted if you don't.
You're right. Yeah, we better be good then.
Yeah.
For me, the go-to group is the Beatles, and
It's becoming that same way for me too.
Moment where Paul McCartney picked me up at John Lennon Airport. He was driving the car and brought me and kind of showed me where the different neighborhoods of the Beatles, and which was an amazing experience. And he'd stop and he'd say, "Oh, this is where this happened," and that's where. And he said, "Do you mind me telling you this?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" and then he stopped at the traffic lights and he said, "Oh yeah, that's where I had our first real kind of conversation, with me and John." And I said, "Hold on a second, I'm a bit of a Beatles student. Didn't you have that when you were in the Quarrymen and such?" He says, "No, it was a different level." He bought a bar of chocolate, and after the war, chocolate was really hard to come by, It was kind of a real luxury. And he bought the bar of chocolate, and he didn't give me a square. He broke it, Cadbury's milk chocolate, broke it in half. And I said, "Oh, so you're into sharing too?" He said, "Yeah." And he said, "I don't know why I'm telling you that." And he drove on, and I just thought, "Oh, I know why you're telling me that." Greatest collaboration, not just in music, in the history of music, maybe the greatest collaboration in the history of culture started with half.
Wow.
They shared.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. The Lennon McCartney partnership. Yeah, man. That chocolate story is so great. I don't even know. That's weird because, I've always had, I'm from Belgium, right? We got a lot of chocolate over here. But, the first book I've ever read on my own when I was I think I was 6 or 7 years old, was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And just the way it made such a big impact on me that I became a big fan of books and became a writer then later on, is just how he coveted that piece of chocolate. And I didn't come from much too. Just that enjoying it, that cracking off square by square, keeping it, putting it back, that restraint, that made such a big impact. Till today, this is more than 30 years later. I still think about that, and it's just that magic of it, which is nothing to do with this thing, but it just like it just reminded me of that again. And it's just a weird way that this chocolate story also, has kind of a big impact on that partnership, and on somebody else. How such a, seemingly simple gesture can lead to a profound thought or connection.
Wow.
They shared. They gave it. My mate Googie, who I just spoke about, who knows all about you and knows all about your sport. He taught me everything he had, and they came. It was tough at times, as I told you, in their house, and he just gave me half of it. Whatever he got, just half. So when we were in U2, and our manager McGuinness says, "You should share everything," I was like, "Yeah, I've been sharing everything. I've been sharing everything anyway." And even now, Edge and myself, we're sitting in our house, we share this place in the south of France. We've been there for 30 years. All our families have kind of grown up there. French are too into themselves to bother us, which is really the way we like it. and we sit there and we think the real owners are going to come.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we still don't really believe this has happened to us. And you know what? I think that's probably right, because we don't really own this stuff. You get it for a short period and then you hand it on. I think something about the four and the way we share is in the sound of our music.
I think
Is
so
that
too.
too?
No. I think you're dead right.
I think that when you
Yeah.
and I was just standing there with a little tambourine that Jimmy found, but it's him playing the tambourine, and yeah, there's something, again, there's not much scholarship about this type of stuff that you can read up
But
on.
it resonates, right?
But you can
It
feel
Yeah, I
something.
believe it. I think there's something to it. You've made decisions that have sort of affirmed this commitment to a higher goal. It's not a hierarchy of, who's the lead singer, who's
yeah.
this, who's that. It's not who's the big star. It's just we're all together to do this thing.
I'm in a band where every member of the band thinks they're the leader.
I think that's every band.
And
I mean, that happens in so many
and I
bands.
voted for this,
Yeah.
and it's sort of great.
I definitely need to learn more about you too. I've only checked out a few songs just on my own when I was younger, and now on the channel as well. So definitely need to get into more of their story and music as well, and of course the Beatles. That story is really great, and for me, that chocolate story that I shared had no impact on uh, me sharing things with other people, but more about savoring things, just enjoying the little things in life. That's really what I got from that. So that it will never leave me. That was beautiful. And yeah, that's a great thing that you feel that in their music, that he said that I'm not well versed enough in it yet, but I do understand that sentiment. And it's a very important thing to as well take with us those human stories, the chocolate story, that what Bono was saying about his own band. It's that what we appreciate in music and live performance, especially with the technology of AI being able to create songs in half a second. We don't get those stories with that. It's not the same. We value human, uh, sometimes suffering, sometimes love. The stories behind it, the way they came to this type of conclusion. That's what we love, and I think that connection will become more and more important in the future. Right? I think so. Yeah. That's cool. That's why I love it. I love story and the humans behind him, and what drove him to a certain conclusion or point. Yeah, man. That's a great lesson. Bono. All right, man. We're going to check out more of you two and the Beatles, maybe on this channel as well, to get into the side stories and the behind the scenes type stuff, and then music, of course, on the Saeed Reacts channel. So all recommendations are welcome. And I truly appreciate your time. Thank you for being here. Peace.